as I make sure that we're good to go. And guys, then we'll share the screens and we'll get started because there's a lot to go through today. Contract rollover, super high impact US news, super high impact US news at 3 a.m. tomorrow morning. And all of the technology says we are rocking and rolling. So let me just grab the screens. I'll share them across to you. Guys, we'll do our analysis as we were about to say. Super, super high impact news today. Super high impact news. So welcome YouTube. I hope you guys are absolutely amazing. As we've got a little YouTube milestone that is approaching very quickly. As you guys might have been around when we were talking about, wouldn't it be great to get like to 50,000 views on YouTube? Wouldn't that be fantastic? So guys, just to keep you posted, we're about to cross over 200,000. And as much as that's not, that's not really anything in the world of YouTube. Guys, I do like these small milestones as you slowly but surely develop your capability. I do like these little milestones, which are always good fun. So, as we should have charts up and racing, which is good, guys. We'll start our brief. The reason being is we're going to be a little bit busy today. Mine's going to be a little bit busy today. So for those that are on the NASDAQ and the SP 500, guys, please be aware that you are now on your 12 of 25 contracts. So please do swap to the December contract. We had a number of traders yesterday, guys, who are not in the LTR, who were getting dodgy fills on their trades until they realized they were actually on the old contract, not the new. So let's make sure we all switch across. Now, that's for the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ traders. You guys are swapping to the December 25 contract. For FDAX, you are literally about 90%, maybe 85% on the old contract and 15% on the new. Guys, I'll give you a tip on how to check that really, really accurately, because there's a lot of fancy ways to do it. There's also a very, very simple way to do it, which is also very effective. For those that are watching, guys, we've got to, as we watch NASDAQ, we'll go and analyze the NASDAQ first. The reason being is you guys have got an absolutely stunning static bar reversal short. So that is actually bopping along at this point in time right now. Now we'll start with our analysis here. Guys, what I do want to point out for everybody that knows what they're doing is you've got an absolutely beautiful three-phase move. Guys, you've got a beautiful three-phase move there on the NASDAQ. So you've got the buyers push in, sellers, buyers, sellers, buyers. So beautiful stair step. Typically, guys, we've got it 3 steps in a stumble. So the static bar reversal at the top of the chart is the stumble. There's no question about that. These guys are failing at the 4-hour open. They're also failing to hold above the 50 fib of the day. Right now, what does it ultimately mean? If you are short, guys, if you are short on the NASDAQ because of the strength of that candle, so you've got a minus 46 rated candle there, which is incredibly strong. If you are short on that, guys, you want to try and hold that short through to European open. As if the Europeans do decide to fall, they're not looking very positive at this point in time, guys. I'll certainly give you the drill on that one. They're not looking very positive. I've just actually heard, guys, a very interesting comment coming out of the UK. Guys, is everybody aware that President Trump has actually just flown to the UK for meetings with Keir Starmer and other things? I didn't realize, guys, until a little bit of research on that earlier today. Apparently, the UK government is very, very, very close to bankrupt. Very close to bankrupt. So I have a sneaking suspicion that Trump's trip to the UK may have a lot more to do about the UK bankruptcy than literally rubbing shoulders with the royal family. So, guys, I'm not 100% sure, but the reporting I'm picking up at this point in time is that the UK is in big trouble. The UK is in big trouble. And I think that's very, very... I'll tell you who's in a lot of trouble, guys, is the Prime Minister. The PM is... So after the protests on the weekend, the Prime Minister, the public perception, the Prime Minister's in a lot of trouble. So we just have to keep an eye on that as it bops along. Now, for our NASDAQ traders, guys, the little square I've got for you here, I'll put the arrow on. That is an absolutely stunning, guys, absolutely stunning 60-minute long. So what I'm actually hoping, guys, is that if the sellers were to sell down, guys, particularly on European Open, guys, if we get down and start failing at Fibonacci's, I want the NASDAQ traders to eye off that static bar reversal. Guys, it's a minus 19. That's a very, very strong platform for these guys to buy. The other thing I'd suggest, guys, down here on the 5-minute chart, this climactic candle here, guys, they've cruised down here. Not only have they hit the Asian low, guys, but they've also hit the daily low. So these guys are trying to trigger, guys, on the daily chart, very, very strong daily static bar reversal short. They tried to trigger it here. Guys, the primary reason why the NASDAQ didn't go short is the S&P 500 was not triggering at that time. So what we're going to be looking for, guys, on the US markets today, if the S&P 500 triggers a static bar reversal short, goes on the daily chart, the NASDAQ is going to go out of sympathy. There is absolutely no question about that at all. Diane, how are you? I hope you're absolutely fantastic. I love it. Now, moving further on, guys, So you guys have got a static bar reversal long off the 60-minute chart. I do want to draw your attention, guys, to, again, if you're switching contracts, guys, a couple of little things that I would definitely keep my eye on. Guys, I was asked yesterday, Lockie, how do I link my charts? There we go. So top right-hand corner, guys, you can actually link your charts by instrument. Okay, so you see this little instrument link here. So guys, if you ever want to check what's the volume on the old contract versus the new contract, you've obviously got all of your charts running on the old contract. Simply just load two charts here, guys. Load two 40-minute charts. And all you're doing is comparing the volume between the two charts. Now, this is what we did on the NASDAQ yesterday. This is what we did on the NASDAQ yesterday. We'll do a live one on the FDAX today because it is actually in contract rollover. One thing I would love to point your attention to, guys, here on the NASDAQ daily chart. Okay, what we've actually got is we've got a lower low on the daily chart. There would be a lot of people, guys, watching this. This is the daily static bar reversal. Guys, it's a minus 75 rating. That's a very, very strong rating. There would be a lot of people that were looking for the NASDAQ to actually break and run below Asia's low. Guys, the reason the NASDAQ hasn't run, the reason we have not run, is because the S&P 500 is not ready to break to the downside yet. It means the high side of this candle here, guys, so today's high on the NASDAQ is now a swing trigger long point. Now, why is that fundamentally important? Guys, it's really, really important because today we've got FOMC at 3 o'clock in the morning, Tokyo time. Guys, that's when the US interest rates come out. 97% of analysts are now saying they're going to drop by at least 0.25%, if not 0.5%. That's going to be seen as incredibly positive, guys, incredibly positive for the US economy. Won't be positive for the US currency, will be very positive for the economy. And we've got daily swing triggers long on the NASDAQ. So if you want to work out how far this is going to go, as you would be using key Fibonacci extensions, they're already on the chart for you already. So I would suggest, as we've already tested, oops, that is the wrong button. As we've already tested, let me grab my arrow here. As you can tell, we're 100% live. Come on, arrow, off we go. As again, if we basically pressure that 161.8 extension on the NASDAQ, which is currently at 246.25, as these guys are probably going to very, very happily run to the 200 or the 233, or even a little bit higher, guys. They might even try and run up to the 300% extension. I wouldn't be surprised at all, guys, if they run to a round number. So the next major round number, guys, is 25,000 up here. Just above 25,000 is, hey presto, 300% extension off the monthly chart. So I wouldn't be surprised, as if we do get a really good run, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Fibonacci extension based. So if anybody needs those targets, guys, please don't be shy if you're going to be going for a very, very long range trade. Down to the 60s, guys, at this stage, you've got climactic candle on the 60-minute chart. So the 60-minute chart traders, you guys are currently in a climactic reversal long, guys, on the NASDAQ. Now, again, if you do trade, guys, if you do trade the Singapore close, you've got this beautiful static bar reversal, guys, you've got this huge climactic candle. What it means, guys, today is we are probably going to be looking at very short range sells, long range longs. As what I would absolutely love is if we get a bit of a European sell down at the start. So a little bit of a European sell down at the start, very, very quickly gets put out, guys, literally that it gets snuffed. The moment that occurs, guys, we're looking for long range longs, and we're going to try and hold them to at least, for the Nazi traders, guys, to at least around about this 24550 mark, guys. So up here, which will be the counter Fibonacci coming back down the other way. Okey-doke. So that's our NASI traders. I'll bring you back down to the 5-minute charts. All right, let's just break this up. Watch, guys, watch very, very highly for a push down towards Asia's low. If we push down towards Asia's low and we fail at Fibonacci, we are likely to turn around and go back the other way, guys, which is going to fuel that buying that we were just talking about. Now, guys, down to the S&P 500. Naturally, the S&P 500 is in charge of the NASDAQ. Guys, so again, watch very, very carefully here, guys. We know about the daily SPR short. So all the way down the bottom here is the trigger for a daily short, guys, on the S&P 500. If we were to sell down quite aggressively, guys, if we do sell down aggressively today, let's say Europe just decides it's going to panic because of what's going on with this Trump meeting and similar things. If we were to sell the market down, guys, if the S&P gets anywhere near triggering that daily short, we definitely don't want to be going long on the NASDAQ. We want to see what happens, guys. We want to see what happens to these guys, and then we're going to rock and roll. There is a press conference, guys. There is a press conference 30 minutes into our trading session today. Guys, that press conference is the ECB President Lagarde talking. If Lagarde does say something anti-Trump, guys, if they were to say something anti-Trump, the market will absolutely tank. All right. So last time, guys, the European Union, just like the FOMC, just like the Reserve, the Federal Reserve, as whenever they say anything that contradicts what Trump is saying, the markets absolutely tank. Okay, so last time the Federal Reserve deliberately contradicted Donald Trump was October 2018, and the NASDAQ dropped around 5,000 ticks within a couple of hours simply because the Federal Reserve deliberately contradicted Trump. It wasn't an accidental contradiction. It was literally Trump is wrong, we are right, and the market just melted down, guys. So not that that's going to happen today, but we just got to keep an eye out that there's a lot of stuff going on. Now, guys, one thing I do want to draw your attention to, S&P 500, you guys have got a beautiful 60-minute chart static bar reversal long. So if we go to the 60-minute chart here, once again, for the S&P 500 traders who trade Singapore close, you guys are long because of the climactic reversal. You're going to try and hold that again, guys. Your counter Fibonacci, for those that are already long on the S&P 500, you're going to try and hold that trade up to, guys, 667,250, right? 667,250. So what we're going to do is we're going to put up the top of the screen here, guys, long range target. Forgot the bloody number, 6672. I just had to look where I was actually writing on the screen, guys, 667,250. That is obviously a long range target for the buyers. Now, if you're not already long on the S&P 500, so interesting point. You see this, this is probably the only triple cluster I would ever worry about in the game of trading. Down the bottom here, guys, you've got a triple cluster of static bar reversals. What's occurred on Singapore close? The sellers have cruised back down, picked up all of those reversals, and then they've started literally just slowly grinding long. So if you are long off these static bar reversals, guys, you're on the right side of the market, no question. If we were to get a sell down, guys, a sell down on European Open that got us well below these levels, draw a Fibonacci up to catch them on the way down. As in ultimately, you're looking for a long, guys, around about the 666, 4.50, guys, if you're a static bar reversal trader. I'm hoping they do, as I'm hoping they do come back down for us. Because if these guys just start grinding and grinding and grinding, some days that does occur. Then for the Europeans, I want them to sell down first, fail badly, turn around and come back the other way. That's what I'm hoping for. Now, guys, what I want you to do, if you're a European-centric trader, what we've got to be aware of is we've got the scattered European news today. We've got to watch 4:30 Lagarde. Now, Lagarde will normally not get up to the podium and just literally go nuts. It's normally about 10 to 15 minutes into Lagarde speaking, is that they start to get into the figures. It's the figures that the UK are most concerned about. So that's when we've got to literally keep an eye on what's going on. If we are, guys, if there is something negative said or something positive said, don't forget that we're going to get the twitching in the candles. So we always get the candle twitch. Just watch for that candle twitch, guys. It's basically an early warning that the algos are getting confused about what's being said. As soon as we see that, we just back away. Guys, don't take a trade until we know what they're ultimately doing. Okay, now at this stage, as we're watching the FDAX for rollover, typically it won't roll over until tomorrow. So let me check you guys. I'll show you how to do that on the FDAX for those that are FDAX traders. Cannot highlight enough, guys. 90% or 97% of people think we are getting an interest rate reduction in the US tomorrow. 97%, so it's around a quarter of a basis point, or sorry, we should say quarter of a percent or 25 basis points. About 50% are saying it's more than that, guys. So double that. We'll just have to wait and see. What does it mean, guys? If you're trading with Fred in the US close tomorrow morning, if you are trading with Fred in the US close, just be aware when the US close live trading room opens is exactly when that Fed meeting starts. Right? So just be very, very careful, as they will produce potentially some very, very large candles. Now, guys, I've got a note here for everybody. Please check your 4-hour charts and your 60-minute charts. So for the 4-hour chart traders, guys, what I do want to highlight is yesterday when these guys sold down, they sold down absolutely perfectly, guys, to the bottom of the evil twins. Yeah, Shelton, spot on the mark. What it ultimately means, guys, what it ultimately means at this point in time, these guys have sold down. Now, the way I read the market is the buyers still own the stair step. Guys, the buyers still own the stair step. What does that ultimately mean? This is technically, guys, this is technically on the 4-hour chart. This is not a 4-hour chart static bar reversal long. Guys, because again, it's effectively, they're trying to generate a swing trigger. Now, the problem with the swing trigger is the mathematical calculation. They're missing a component. They're not trading with the trend. So again, guys, the FOMC, or these guys at the moment are a little bit confused. What I note is that the 4-hour Fibonacci's are working beautifully. So if these guys did want to have a crack to the high side, we're going to have to watch predominantly for the 50 fib on the 4-hour chart, as that will be the one that catches us, and it's going to be a little bit above this 141.4 fib extension around about the 5407 mark. Okay, now yesterday, guys, got a huge meltdown on the European markets. Why did they melt down? You've got this beautiful 4-rated SBR short. So that's the open of the market yesterday. They pushed up, failed at Fibonacci. Fancy that. Turn around, triggered out a 4-rated SBR, and look at the run. That's a huge run down. 60-minute chart, right? 60-minute chart. What I want to draw everybody's attention to is we are clearly in very, very strong reversals long. What I'm looking for is we would literally be kissed by the European angel if we can get this. If we get a sell down, that generates a lower low here, it's going to reload a series of SBRs. Now, the best SBR, guys, is the one with the 4 rating on it. So if we can sell down a little bit on the FESX today and then come back through, as once again, I think the mentality for today is long range longs, short range shorts. That's what I would be. That's what I would be primarily focused on. So we'll see. We'll ultimately see what the market's got for us. Because as we do every day, please don't try and preempt the market direction. The whole purpose of running through the charts is not to preempt, like literally not put a trade on now and hope you can second guess market direction. Europe's got an incredible capacity to outflank you on that one. But what we want to do, guys, is we want to set up key levels in the market. So if the market literally AB equals C, if the market does a certain thing, and then we can basically take advantage of it very, very confidently. G'day, Murray. Hope you are fantastic. So for the DAX traders at this point in time, you guys have got a couple of things that we want to be super aware of. Guys, down here, 23831. So 23831. So just below the pre-bottom of today, guys, is an absolutely stunning 30-minute long. It's probably one of the best I've seen in a long time. At the moment, 23400. So we're currently in a 60-minute long. Just be aware that the Europeans don't normally trigger these larger chart longs until the cash market. Right? So again, my message would be you have not missed out. Right? You have not missed out on a great trade. But we do have to be aware that if we sell back down into those levels, typically over the first 5 to 10 minutes, guys, if they're not very impressive with their selling like they were yesterday, it's highly likely we're going to turn and go for long range longs. It's highly likely we're going to be doing that. All right, now, as if the FDAX does go a little bit lower, guys, if we do go a little bit lower, please be aware that the FDAX is actually trying to trigger monthly shorts. Now, again, new contract, I don't think they're going to trigger a monthly short, guys, with literally 1 day to go on the contract. That wouldn't be very smart. Why would that not be smart? because everybody triggering a monthly short on the contract that's about to expire can only hold their monthly short for 1 day, then they've got to swap to the new contract. So if we are going to go for massive shorts, guys, it'll be really, really early in the new contract. So the big boys and girls out there have actually got 3 months to take advantage of their trade. So this contract rollover, guys, this process can actually be quite an advantageous process to take advantage of. Now, guys, I want to watch very, very carefully on the FDAX. I was doing some slightly larger analysis here. As if we do push down, on the FDAX today, which we have already done, as this is looking notoriously long. It's notoriously long. Just be advised, though. Just be advised. Can everybody see that the stair step on the 4-hour chart is very, very clearly owned by the sellers? The FDAX, we're not owned by the sellers. Okay, we're owned by the buyers. So we've now got charts in conflict on the last day of this FDAX contract. Okay, so we've just got to be a little bit careful today, as the signals have got to be super, super, super clear. And if we get anywhere near that volume switching over, then we'll basically sit on the fence until the volume does switch. How do I check it? And then I'll jump on Steve. Guys, how do I check it? So at the moment, we're trading the FDAX 9 contract, 9 of 25. So what I do is I make sure all of my 9 of 25 contracts are linked together, right? So I don't make the mistake of changing my 5-minute chart and then not changing all the other charts. I grab a 1440 chart, guys. Again, one of the most accurate charts. And I have a look at the trading volume right now. So at the moment on the old contract, guys, we're sitting at 1,076, right? So call it 1,000 and some loose change. Then all I've got here is a 1440-minute chart, which is on the new contract. All I do is compare the numbers, and at the moment we've got 228 on the new contract. We've got over 1,000 on the old, so call it 20%. That's 20% on the old contract. Okay, that means that at this point in time, you are best off trading the old contract. Once we get to a 50-50 split, guys, between those volumes, you're best off not trading at all. Once we go 70-30 in favor of the new contract, that's ultimately when we should be switching over to the new contract. Now, when we do that, just a little reminder, when we do that, please remember to save your workspace. Otherwise, tomorrow when you come back, you'll be on the wrong contract. You do all your Fibonacci on the wrong contract, then you're going to have to go and do all of that work again. All right, now I'm keeping a very, very close eye. Very close eye on the 60-minute chart today. The reason being is we do have, guys, a series of reversals long on the 60-minute chart. These normally don't trigger until the cash market. What I'm being very, very careful of, guys, is these guys could push up here and then actually literally trigger a cash market swing trigger short and run down to these Fibonacci extensions. All right, so we've just got to be very aware of that. You guys do know that the FDAX absolutely loves the 161.8 fib extension. So literally when they sold down yesterday, guys, they sold down to this beautiful cluster of Fibonacci's. Therefore, if we sell down again, guys, it's probably going to be Fibonacci centric. Okay. Now, guys, let me just have a look. 6.5 minutes or so. So we've got a ton of time to get ready to rock and roll. For the DAX traders today, we're going to be very, very well aware of our 4-point, guys, the 4-point opening candle algo. And again, if we do sell down, I'll move some of these words out of the way, but if we do sell down, as we're looking for absolute failure, based on what we got yesterday, very, very strong sell. There's no reason why these guys are not going to have a crack to the downside. All right. So as we roll in, I'm just going to read Steve's comment there, guys. For those on YouTube, Steve does some incredible technical analysis, and I'm just going to read his comment here. So if I go a little bit quiet, guys, it's because I'm reading. So just hold on 1 sec as I do that. Two, 4. Yeah, perfect, mate. I agree with you completely. So what we're going to do is what I'm going to do is, again, see my Fibonacci's drawn up here in order to catch them on the way down, right? So that was literally getting ready for a potential meltdown as I got ready. We're going to need a Fibonacci on the 60-minute chart like this, okay? And what we're going to keep a very, very close eye on, let's have a look here. 24534. Okay, I reckon, can we go that high? No, we can't. So we're going to run a Fibonacci, guys. We're going to run a Fibonacci from here to here. What we're looking for is we're going to watch very, very closely about whether the NASDAQ, as we come into the open, which is 4.5 minutes away. Have a look, guys, at the NASDAQ's ability to try and hold above and stay above that 66% Fibonacci there. Hey, Dan, how are you? I hope you're fantastic. Now, if we get stuck here, understanding we are in a 60-minute reversal long, if we get stuck at these key Fibonacci levels, I note with interest that we're also stuck right in the middle of the 60-minute chart MDI. All right, guys, we've also got a shorter range and longer range MA moving averages that actually disagree with each other. So you would literally suggest we've got charts in conflict here. Now, 24325. Thank you, mate. I'll just check that as well. So we've got WhatsApp messages coming in saying literally check out my Fibonacci, which is always helpful. Always helpful. We hunt as a pack, which is always good fun. Okay. So we might have a daily Fibonacci playing here, guys. What's our time? We've got 3 minutes. So let me just double check. Yeah, 3 minutes. We've got a ton of time. Okay, let me just have a look. Let me have a look. Now, based on how I normally do fibs, like all of that is correct. All right. So what I'm looking for would be a Fibonacci. This is clearly the dominant turn bar. Nope. Right, so the next one will actually be the actual dominant candle itself. Right, what I'm looking, guys, is I'm looking to see a really, really close, intimate match into what we're currently seeing. The next dominant candle's here. Guys, there will be 400 different opinions. All right, that's the one I like right there. Okay, now the reason I like that, is we've caught these guys here and we've also caught them there. Now, Fibonacci, guys, Fibonacci can be a little bit opinionated. There will be some people out there that say, Loggy, you're completely wrong. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark Petros's level, guys, and also mark my levels. I like that 161. So Petros, you've got a level at 24325. All right, 24325. 24325. 24. You mean 24525? Is that 24525? There might be a little bit of a typo here. 100%. No, 24325. 24325. That is, mate, that's all the way up the bottom of the chart. All right, let me just do a double check. All right, I'm gonna leave that one there for the moment. I'm gonna leave that one there for the moment. We are 1 minute to go. We've got time. Nice to meet again. Have a quick look. There is going to be a Fibonacci that runs from there to there to there. But is it of any help? Yes, it is of help to us. Probably a little bit big today. All right. What we're going to do, let's get ready to rock and roll because we're going to get ready towards the open. Again, I drew it from the bottom of the green. Okay, mate. No worries. We will check that, mate. We'll check that in around about 15 or so minutes. We'll just let the Europeans open. So we're going to follow exactly the same algorithm, guys, we did yesterday. Very boring. Same algorithm we've been following since effectively 2009. All right, so let's be very boring with the intent of being very profitable. Now, 20 or so seconds, guys, until the FDAX triggers. 20 or so seconds until the FDAX triggers. We are at this stage, guys, looking for a pre-top reversal. I'm happy with this static bar reversal over here on the left-hand side, provided all of the boxes are ticked. As for what we normally do, right? For what we normally do, right? So if you don't trade the opening candle, right? If you don't trade the opening candle, then please don't be romanced into taking a trade. Let me just do that one there. Okay. So we just, guys, we'll let it roll 60 seconds. Obviously, that 133 daily extension is starting to cause the buyers a little bit of trouble, but we still don't have all of our ingredients, guys, for the perfect signal. So we're going to wait for the color change. NASDAQ traders are potentially looking at a reversal short, but you've got to get through a number of pivots, so I'd be very, very careful. Right, so FDAX, we now have a color change. As we now have a color change, as if you do trade the opening candle on FDAX, as you would need to pick up one of the older static bar reversals. At this stage, we don't have a pivot-based reversal yet. Now, if you don't trade the opening candle, guys and girls, please do not take a trade on FDAX. Okay, if you don't trade an opening candle, this is definitely not your trade. Right, now at this stage, we are watching the buyers. So very, very heavy campaign by the buyers is not going very well. Guys, we've obviously changed colors. Buyers own the stair step. We are failing at Fibonacci. So again, if you are an opening candle trader, as you know the exact algorithm that you're following. Okay, now I am personally short. So personally short on that opening candle trade. So I've picked up my static bar reversal over here on the left-hand side. As mentioned to you, I've gone short on the SBR. Low volatility, I've gone for a 5-point target only. Guys, I'm out on that trade at 5 points on all 6 accounts simultaneously. All right, so if you have traded this static bar reversal short, you waited for the buyers to push up, you followed the 4-point algorithm, guys, then put your sell order on. Your selling entries around about the 417 or exactly 417 mark. Dan, beautiful trade, and that's gone straight through its targets. Right? So if that is your trade, well done. Right, now I've only gone for a 5-point target. That's around about 143 US per contract. I've only gone for a short range target because we've got a lot of stuff going on today with YouTube. And also, guys, the market is very, very congested, right? Very, very congested. So we'll just let these guys bop along. For those that are very good at FDAX, you're going to leave the FDAX alone, guys, in the last 90 seconds of the candle. Right, you're going to leave the NASDAQ alone, so the FDAX alone. The next trade that is likely to set up, guys, the sellers have actually stolen the stair step on the FDAX. Right, sellers now own the stair step because these guys went up first before they came down. That means that we're looking at buying-based reversals as off the 50% in the open. Or we're looking for the buyers to push up, create a brand new market high. We might be looking for a pre-top reversal. The FDAX, guys, like it almost always does, has gone straight to the 50 fib of the day inside the cash market. Rog, nice work, mate. That would be a brand new Tradeovate data feed. Rog, I trust you got my video. Trust you got my video. If you did, mate, that's very, very exciting. Very, very exciting indeed. Rog, nice work, mate. Very good. All right, so guys and girls, if you need a hand with anything, Rog reached out. He was having trouble with the data feed. Please just reach out, guys, and we'll get the question answered as fast as possible. Again, for those of you who are going through the funding process, occasionally there's little bits and pieces that are not 100% obvious. Now, for those that went short, guys, you can see why we use short range targets, guys, in short range volatility. Also, we're looking at short range shorts and long range longs, right? So if you have gone short on that one, guys, that's actually gone really, really well. Now we'll just wait for the next signal to set. At this stage, As there is going to be a climactic reversal on the FDAX to the downside. Now, I would encourage everybody to wait for a higher high as compared to the current candle. The reason being is if you don't wait for the higher high, okay, which has just occurred, you would now look, guys, for an entry 1 point outside the range of the active candle at 436. If you are a climactic reversal trader, guys, your target is the pre-top. So just watch, guys, if you're selling the FDAX down, your target is actually the pre-top, which is a pivot. We need to be aware that the sellers would need to push through that pivot in order to hit that 5-point target. All right. So for those that trade the climactic reversal, you're looking for the buyers to push up, create a new high, which is exactly what they've done. And you're now looking for these guys to push down, guys, and push through 431 very happily. You're on target now. That should be boom. Anybody short on the FDAX climactic reversal, 436, 431, straight through your target. Well done if you are a climactic reversal trader. That extreme volume indicator is hilarious. So please tell me, Diane, well done. Shelton, nice work, mate. Beautiful trade. Beautiful trade, everybody. All right, so that can have a circle because lots of you have picked that up. Notice how easy it was, guys, waiting for the higher high and then entering correctly after extreme volume. Absolute no-brainer. All right, now, for the NASDAQs, we are moving, guys, to exactly the Fibonacci we were talking about, right? Just here. So a red diamond, guys, a red diamond delta short on NASDAQ would be absolutely phenomenal. Do I have any FDAX traders short for long-range targets? Your volatility would allow you to trade for a 5 and 25. Right, so a 5 and 25 if you are short. Oh, MJ got a 20 and a 25. Mate, that's a massive trade. 45 points on FDAX, mate. That's over 1,600 Aussie. All right, so well done, mate. That is a stunning trade. Well, MJ, it's again, you can't point the finger at me, mate. It's 100% mathematics. If it wasn't for that extreme volume indicator, there'd be a whole lot of people in the world that are buying off the top of that candle, not realizing that the buyers have completely run out of steam and now they're getting absolutely smashed and they're wondering why their strategy doesn't work. So I say, well done to you, man. It's a really, really, really lovely trade. That's a big trade. So well done. Now let's keep an eye, guys. Let's keep an eye on the slightly larger charts, particularly the FDAX, because this looks like they're getting ready to tumble. The tumble zone, guys, if we come back to the FDAX, if we get, guys, I would not be surprised at all if these guys try and push for lower lows on the FDAX. If we got a lower low, I literally dip the toe into that little rectangle there. It's going to pick up that 2-rated SBR going the other way. I'd suggest that's the end of the FDAX selling. I think we're going to come back the other way pretty hard. Right. So FDAX, you should be sitting at anything from 5 to 20 points. So if you're up around the 20-point mark, you're at your daily KPI, which is awesome. I'm personally, guys, I'm pretty transparent about this. I'm sitting at 5 points only. Guys, I will take more trades. I've just got to make sure that the LTR runs very, very well today. There's lots and lots and lots of people watching what we're doing. And I want to make sure you guys get some really top results as well. That would be amazing. Now, let's have a look. So Nazi, at this point in time, we may be setting up a ratio-based static bar reversal. The key with the ratio-based SBR. Now, some of the slightly more experienced traders, you may be short because they've come within the vicinity of this 76 Fibonacci, 76.8. For those of you who are waiting for a static entry or double failure entry, we don't want to sell the NASDAQ, guys. We don't want to sell the NASDAQ if the NASDAQ closes over the top of the gap. We also don't really want to sell the NASDAQ, right? If the S&P 500 closes over the top of the 50 fib of the day. So at this point in time for the Nazi traders, you guys are brand new, first day on your new contract. We've just got to be a little bit aware that it might take them a little bit of shakeout to get this rolling. There would be a lot of American traders, guys, that are sort of sitting on the fence until the FOMC announcement as well. So we just got to watch that FOMC announcement. MJ, I took the 131 extension for the trade. Oh, well done, mate. Well done. Okay, very, very well done. Now, guys, see this selling down on the FDAX. We've sold down to very, very heavy sell down on the FDAX, and they literally don't have the capacity to go down any further, right? So that means I would suggest we might get a little bit of a sell down, guys, a little bit of a sell down on Europe. Again, we don't have another signal yet. We might get a bit of a sell down, guys. If the first sort of 15 minutes or so tries to sell down really hard and they can't push the market down, we are going to turn and run, which brings in the long range longs, which we spoke about earlier. All right, so we'll just tread very carefully. For those that are already profitable, guys, on the FDAX, well done. In fact, we've had 2 trades. I'll bring this little circle across. So DAX traders, you've had 2 trades that fit the algorithm so far. Guys, I jumped on the first one. Most of you jumped on the second one. Either way, we're in profit. We're killing it. We'll just keep doing what we've been doing since 2009. I laugh at that because there are so many people out there in the world that change what they do in trading every 6 to 8 weeks. Do you know that I was told, guys, when I was learning CFD trading, that I'd actually have to change my algorithm every 6 to 8 weeks to make money? And when I spoke to a friend of mine that owned a broking firm, he actually stated very clearly, the reason you got to change what you do is the brokers change their manipulation algorithms. That's why you got to change what you do. Now, FDAX traders, we've got the buyers pushing up quite nicely here. The NASDAQ traders, you've got a double failure reversal off those 76 fibs at the top. That would be for those people that know what they're doing, guys, on 76 fib reversals. So you've got this beautiful double failure reversal. Your volatility is very low. Guys, your risk control point would be 10 ticks, right? So literally only 10 ticks because the volatility is so low. For the FDAX, guys, if we push up and we fail badly at Fibonacci, then you guys have got a pre-bottom short, sorry, a pre-top short on. Now at this stage, you would have to draw your Fibonacci down. Guys, in order to catch them on the way up, the failure would have to be very structured, very, very obvious. So guys, at this point in time, you've got a 61.8 Fibonacci failure here. So again, if you're a pre-top reversal trader for the FDAX, you're looking at a 430 entry and a 425 target. So 430 entry, 425 target. If that is you, guys, you would want them to sell down through your 5-point target. Guys, in the next sort of 60 or so seconds, you're 1 point off your target, then they've gone back the other way. So just hold and see what they do here. Guys, FDAX is obviously trying to sell down with a bit of gusto. Again, we don't have a higher high on the FDAX. Those that look for higher highs, then you don't yet have what you need. Do I have anybody short, guys, on the double failure reversal, guys, on the 76 fibs on the NASDAQ? Guys, basically, the NASDAQ has gone exactly where Steve was going to suggest. If you are short, guys, if you are short on the NASDAQ, guys, you've got a 10-tick risk control point. So what I'd suggest to everybody is you've gone through your risk control point. Guys, you've then reduced your risk or make sure you've got no risk on the trade. I'd suggest a 20-tick first target and a 50-tick second target. Okay, Ken, that's fine. Okay, FDAX at this stage, we're looking for one of two things. Guys, we're looking to see if the FDAX gives us a really, really strong candle or not strong candle. At the moment, the FDAX, guys, remember we spoke about that 15 minutes. We spoke about these guys trying to sell down for 15 minutes. At this point in time, the sell down on the FDAX is not going well. There's a lot of energy behind that. Right? So over 10,000 contracts have gone short and no one is buying the short. Right? So that's why we've just got to be a little bit aware that these guys will set themselves up in the first 15 minutes. Guys, they'll set themselves up in the first 15. If the sellers do decide they're going to show some strength towards the end of this 15 minutes, which is 35 seconds away, guys, we're probably going to see a little bit more of a sell down. Re-extension in the old contract, so not valid. Yeah, Petros, you'll have to do it on the new contract, mate. That's why I couldn't find your Fibonacci, but that's okay, mate. That's all right. That's why we trade together so people don't get lost. That's why we trade together. All right, now FDAX traders, at this point in time, Right, the sellers on the FESX are going to close a very strong selling candle, very strong selling candle. For DAX, I can't give you another trade short unless they were to gap under the pre-top, which they have not done. Have I got anybody short, guys, on the NASDAQ off the double failure at the 76.4? If you are short, you've gone through your 20 tick target. You've controlled your risk, so you have nothing at risk on the trade. Now what you're trying to do, guys, is push down to around about a 50 tick target. Now, 50 ticks on the NASI. Guys, 50 ticks. I'll just draw a box for you. Guys, it's a lot easier, in my humble opinion, than doing maths. All right, so 50 ticks looks like this. So for those people that are short for a slightly longer range target on NASDAQ, you're going to try and go to the bottom of my box there. Sellers, guys, very, very strong on the FESX. So if you're short on the FDAX, guys, with a target of 425, may I suggest that you're on the right side of the market? They're just taking a little bit of time to get to that 425 target, right? So I know some of you are short at 430. You're trying to get it to go to 425. At this stage, the sellers have control of the European market. I do want that 425 target paid, guys. I do want it paid. Otherwise, we're starting to be a little bit long, as in a little bit time duration is a little bit funky for the FDAX. We're normally paid. All right, you guys are on target now. I was about to say we're normally paid inside 7 minutes. It's been 6 minutes. You guys have had your target kissed, which means it's triggered your risk control point. Right, so anybody short on the FDAX, guys, that has not gone through the profit target. It's gone far enough to trigger your ATM and then taken you out. Okay, now, so therefore we're going to call that a scrub trade. It's basically gone as far as it's required. It's triggered your risk control. It hasn't gone through the target, so I'm not going to consider that a winning trade. Okay, now at this point, guys, we're keeping an eye on, for the FDAX OSR traders, we're keeping an eye on the buyers pushing up, failing at Fibonacci. We're looking for a short for the OSR traders, right? If you're an OSR trader, we're looking for a short. Again, for the pivot traders, we've got nothing for you on FDAX. For the ratio traders, got nothing for you at this stage. All right, now NASDAQ traders, I know I've got some NASI traders who are short from the dual 76s at the top here. So again, great little trade. Guys, if you are in on that trade, guys, you've already gone through your first target and risk control point, and you're on your way to your second target. Guys, please don't re-enter that NASDAQ trade until we get clear guidance from the NASDAQ and also the S&P as to what they want to do. All right, now at this stage, guys, please note that the FESX has gone all the way down to its pre-bottom and its lower OSR. The sellers are now failing to move the FESX down. So again, because they're failing to move it down, we'll see the buyers come through on the FDAX. Let's just see these guys come through. For the DAXy traders, guys, if we do get big efficient candles, so if we do get big efficient candles to the high side, then we are going to try and trade the FDAX as per the brief. Guys, we're going to try and trade the FDAX long to long range targets. Let me just sort out your green Fibonacci. Your Fibonacci is correct. All right, so guys, so note in the brief, we spoke about a lower low, then we spoke about getting a static bar reversal long on the 4-hour chart. Hey, presto, guess what's happening? 4-hour long. So we are going to try and trade, guys, the FDAX is up here. So around 2-3, yeah, wow, look at this. Around about 23600, guys, 23600 would be a long range target. NASDAQ traders, you're not going short again until we get a higher high and S&P 500 agreement. FDAX, if we close over the upper OSR here, guys, if we close, thank you, mate. If we close over the upper OSR, right, so we've got around about 45 seconds until that occurs. If we do close over, guys, if we do close over, we're going to try and target the 150% that's hiding up here. We must get a retrace. We must get a rejection. Don't you run without us, please. Right, we must get a retrace. We must get a rejection. Again, guys, I want that to be Fibonacci based. So I want that to be Fibonacci based for the European based traders. That black diamond delta, guys, is absolutely perfectly in the right spot, provided we get a retrace and a rejection. All right, now your volatility, guys, is okay. Volume is okay. 460, 460. Thank you, mate. So at this stage, for the FDAX traders, guys, the sellers must show, they must fail at Fibonacci, and then you're looking for the delta long. Now, the aggressive traders, if the sellers sell down through the upper OSR and fail at Fibonacci, guys, you can enter on that little green tolerance line there. All right, beginner traders, you would be looking worst case scenario, to enter outside the range of this candle. Okay. Super beginner traders, you're literally just going to put a buy order on that black diamond delta at 466. Okay. Now, if you're going to enter on the upper OSR, you must have experience in doing that. What we don't want is these guys to suck back down into the OSR. So even the intermediate traders, you've been engaged on the green line just here, guys. You've been engaged at 53. If that is your trading style, guys, you're going to try and hold unto 58 and go through a 5-point target. So you're in at 53. Your goal is to go to 58 if you trade an OSR continuation style trade. All right, if that is you, some of you may have entered a little bit lower, like literally 1 point over the top of the OSR. Steve, nice work, mate. Well done. Well done. So for the FDAX traders who entered on the tolerance line 53, you wanted to go to 58. You guys are kissing your target now. Guys, you're kissing your target. Nazi, at this stage, you're back on your target again, FDAX traders. So if you did trade off the tolerance line, guys, after we got the retrace and the rejection, if you did trade off that for a 58 target, you threw your target. Well done. Guys, if that is your trade, don't let me romance you into taking trades that are not in your trading plan. The black diamond delta, guys, at the top of the candle is still on for the beginner traders. Guys, the entry is 66 with a 7-1 target. NASDAQ, we were waiting for a higher high before we thought about looking at reversals. We need S&P 500 agreement. I would suggest for the NASI traders, that we would be looking for the S&P to push up to the gap and fail. That's going to be a really obvious reversal. So anybody long, guys, off the OSR on FDAX, you've been paid. Guys, the delta over the top of the candle has not been engaged. All right, so that means that if these guys do close back inside the OSR, we'd be looking at an OSR reversal short. At this stage, guys, don't put your order under the OSR. 8, that's good, mate. It's more profit. We just keep locking away profit. Guys, if we close back inside, you can see this is becoming quite contentious, guys. So Lagarde might be getting ready to go on stage. Ash, you got it. Well done, mate. Beautiful trade. So Ash has gone off the efficient long, guys, here on NASDAQ. That's also, Ash, that's also a swing trigger long. So you've traded a swing trigger with an efficient candle. So, mate, well done. Great trade. Absolutely beautiful trade. I'm looking for the buyers to absolutely 100% fail. On the NASDAQ, we never went to the 50 tick target, but that's why we've got an early first target and a long range second target. Guys, we got paid on everything and we're in a good spot. 141.4. Thank you. Okay, let me get rid of that Fibonacci. Let me get rid of this Fibonacci and that one there. So FDAX traders, at this point in time, you're having a relatively straightforward day. That is not the Fibonacci they're using. All right, now that that red diamond delta, guys, 100% valid. All right, if we close inside the OSR. All right, so anyone that's gone long over the top of the OSR, the tolerance line, it's gone straight through its target. Well done. Okay, now a number of you got that trade, so I'm going to give that a circle. That's pretty well a lay down misère, that one. And now we're waiting to see what these guys do. 5-minute Fibonacci extension. Okay. Okay, perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, let's have a look here. Perfect. Sheldon, nice work, mate. Well done. Breezy. Oh, nice work. You guys are killing the FDAX, even the new FDAX traders. A 10-point trade, it's 400 Aussie dollars. Like, well done to you. I think it's bloody hilarious. All right, now, again, guys, we're on the wrong side of the OSR. So FDAX at this stage, you can't go long and you certainly can't go short on that delta. It's very tempting, but you can't do anything. For the NASI and S&P 500, guys, if we were to push up, I would suggest the reversal point, guys, it'll be a short range short. Guys, a short range short. If we were to push up on the NASI here, let me get rid of a little bit of detail there, guys. The actual auto fib has drawn these Fibonacci's for me. So again, big shout out to Tim, guys. That's that auto fib indicator for you. It's already done it. At this stage, guys, I am looking for the S&P 500 to push up to the gap, guys, and ultimately fail and give us a really, really nice little reversal. Guys, just be aware for the European-based traders, Lagarde is going to start to talk in around about 5 minutes. I don't think it's going to be an issue unless they come and say something really, really silly, really silly. If they do, it might be on purpose, and we're going to see the market react accordingly, guys. So we'll see the twitching in the candles first, and then off we rock and roll. Okay, so let's just see what we're doing here. Fibonacci on S&P needs to be turned up the other way. So I was expecting, as I came in to do my analysis this afternoon, a very heavy sell down, and we haven't had that yet. All right, now at this stage, the NASI, guys, we've got a higher high. Looks like they're mucking around that 161.80 extension off the daily chart. I still don't think we're safe as reversing the NASDAQ until the S&P shows us what it wants to do with the gap. This will be a really, really important, really important level. There's also another one up here as well. I would suggest that 4-hour fib can actually come back the other way. Steve, what was your key level, mate? What was your key level on the NQ? I'm thinking if we push above this 90% Fibonacci here and then we fail badly, I think we're going to pick up a really nice little sell. It is going to be a short range short though, guys. So again, a 10-tick risk control point. The reason being is your volatility is very, very low at this stage. Okay. Where's the Asian high? Just watch. Okay. So I would suggest very key level. So Asian high, I'm going to bring that across the screen for you for the NASI traders. That's our Asian high. Again, if we were to get above and close above the Asian high, then we're literally these guys are going to try and rally. If we can't get above that, guys, we're going to get a really, really nice little sell. 573. 573. Okay, mate. Perfect. Now, what we can see here, guys, the buyers are obviously trying to push through the 90% Fibonacci of the day. We're just below the Asian high. Let me just see what. Okay, S&P's got a long way to go, guys, before it starts tickling Asia. Let me have a quick look. Yeah, long way to go. So what we'll do, guys, for the NASI traders, we're going to wait for, so the advanced traders, you're allowed to obviously do a single touch reversal off those fibs. For the junior traders, we're going to wait for a static bar reversal. Guys, we're looking for agreement on the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ simultaneously. We've got to be very careful, guys, on the NASDAQ. If the S&P gets above and holds above a pivot, which it's trying to do at the moment, we won't be able to sell the NASDAQ back down because the S&P 500 disagrees with the sell. So again, let's just wait, guys. We'll just let these guys come to us. At this stage, for the FDAX traders, please note that the FESX is about to get to its upper OSR. So what does that ultimately mean? This is a very, very strong buying campaign by the FDAX traders. If we do close above, guys, if we do close above the OSR or we gap over the OSR, then the FDAX traders are ultimately looking for a swing trigger long, as you can't assume a close over a micro trend 50. Okay, so let me just watch very closely here. Of course, you've jumped over the micro 50. And we don't have the strong scenario we thought we were going to get, guys, on the, we don't have the strong scenario on the FDAX. They had the opportunity to give us a very, very strong candle, guys, and they peeled away right at the last minute. So for the FDAX traders, at this stage, you guys are looking for a push up, fail at Fibonacci extension and retracement combined, and you're looking for a short. I definitely suggest you guys look for a higher high, right? I definitely look for a higher high. For the NASI, guys, I've got nothing I can give you at this stage. All right, so just being very clear with FDAX, you must get a higher high. Guys, you must get a higher high before you look for another short. All right, you guys are looking for the buyers to push up here. Absolute clinical failure at Fibonacci. Your volatility's dropped now back under 20, so you must have that 5-point risk control on that we use every single day. Almost every single day. Now the NASI, guys, a little bit frustrating. Again, some of you have picked up this really, really efficient long, guys, which was absolutely brilliant for those that picked it up. Others did pick up the double failure reversal as off the 76 fib, which is again slightly more advanced, but that is okay. That is okay. At this stage, beginner traders, again, we're back into Asia highs, so we'll just see what they do. I would love, for the NASDAQ traders, I would love the S&P 500 to close back under its gap. I'd love the NASDAQ to close back underneath that 88.6, and if it does, Europe could turn in perfect synergy, guys, and we're looking for an absolutely lovely short. Now, Steve wants to trade long into 24573. 24573, which is a little bit above where we are at the moment, which is good. If we're going to go short, guys, on the NASDAQ and S&P, we've got to get that S&P 500 to give us a static bar reversal, and we want that SBR to be under the gap, because otherwise we've just got to keep our powder dry until we get an absolute textbook signal. FDAX, if you get a higher high, you know how the FDAX loves reversing. Loves reversing off the 133 fib. So if we were to get a higher high, pushes through and fails at the retracements here, if we got a higher high, we'd be looking to try and pull a 133 fib extension reversal. Is at 457. There's other people thinking about doing what we're doing. Kay, nice work, mate. Well done. So you've traded off the gap long on NASDAQ. Kay, beautiful trade. So FDAX, other people obviously thinking about what we're doing, because the buyers had the chance to be very impressive on the FDAX and they completely failed, because that was a very, very strong candle. It actually ended up being a -3 rated candle. So that's basically the buyers have given up on Europe. I wonder if Lagarde came up to the stage and then fell over or did something, because again, it's not looking particularly positive at this point. For the FDAX traders, if we do get a 4-point turning bar short, guys, we need to keep a very close eye on that. That would have to fit the algorithm perfectly. All right, so let's just watch. Guys, the beauty of what we do is we get a lot of trades every week. We don't have to force trades. Guys, we don't have to force trades. S&P 500, you have to give us the perfect setup, please. The perfect setup. One, two, three, four, five. That was K. K, did you take K? Were you on this candle here? You're on this one here, because a number of the traders actually grabbed that one, that one there. If you're on that one, mate, it's an absolutely beautiful retrace, guys. Failed off key levels, the strength returned on behalf of the buyers, and obviously it's tinkered off quite nicely. So every time we do get a really, really strong, efficient candle, guys, perfect, Kate, well done. Every time we get a really strong, efficient candle, guys, if the bias of the market is moving to the high side, which we know it is today, Guys, every time you get that efficient candle, provided you get a reasonable risk, you can enter over the top of the candle, guys, and just let it roll. We're just, for the NASDAQ traders, we're looking for a loss of efficiency to pick up a reversal. We're not getting that at this stage. All right, and that's okay. We're just going to let these guys drift. If we did get a black diamond delta, guys, like this one here on the NASDAQ, and the leading candle is very strong, then that might be a way for the junior traders to join this buying campaign. FDAX at this stage, you must get a higher high. You guys are sneaking through for a higher high. You want a higher high. You want them to fail at these Fibonacci's here. Guys, I'd love the buyers to push up a little bit, guys, on FDAX, because that 133 reversal is going to load relatively quickly. I note the FESX gapped down, guys, at the start of the actual candle. So what we've got is a situation where as these FDAX buyers even try and push the market up, guys, and they fail, they're going to, so let them push, guys, let them push. This is perfect. We're going to let them push through. That's a perfect Fibonacci failure. Guys, it means if you are a 133 fib extension trader, guys, if you are a 133 fib trader, your entry is going to go on, guys, at 457. Guys, this could give you a better entry. All right, wow, if anybody's short at 457, guys, look at the response. Holy moly. If anybody's short on the FDAX at 457, definitely use a 5-point target, please. I was about to tell the FDAX traders, because you've got a higher high, you guys are through your target, well done. Because you've got a higher high, we could actually be a bit cheeky and enter underneath that 76 fib. Either way, guys, anyone that's gone short under the 133, guys, if you're short at 457, your target's 452. Can anybody confirm for me that you've got that trade? All right, so 457 entry, 452 target. All right, at this point in time, the candle's gone as low as 450. MJ, well done. Did anybody else get that 133 fib extension, guys, after the retrace and after the push through, and then we put our order on? If anybody else got that trade, Diane, well done. No, that's awesome. Well done. So, guys, your volatility on FDAX, volatility is below 20. Guys, so you're looking for 5-point targets. Just be very careful, guys. FDAX would need to come through and create a brand new, completely higher high and get drilled again if we were to pick up the same trade again. All right, so again, the 76 fib reversal trade is on for the advanced traders. That's a 459 entry, 454 target. I would suggest the way the buyers are pushing on the FDAX, guys, if you've already had a winning trade out of this candle, guys, underneath the 133 extension, if you've already had a winning trade, I would wait for this candle to close and then look to take a brand new trade. Guys, that's what I would be looking for. Now, for our wonderful YouTubers, guys, I said around about 35 or so minutes in the LTR. So this is what we do every day. So we are very, very boring. We do the same thing every day, but we really enjoy what we do. Now, the reason I say that, YouTubers, I'm about to cut you off, and I've got to go and focus now on running the LTR for the next hour or so. So for YouTubers, any questions, reach out to Samurai, please. The team are moving from strength to strength. There is absolutely no doubt about that. So now, guys, for those in the LTR, I'm going to have to stop your share for a moment, which I'll go through that drill now. So I'll stop your share, and all I'm going to do is jump on that live